Straight ahead on 12 News, PUPS to the rescue. The animal shelter in Maple Grove that gives animals a second chance. Then, already thinking summer, we'll show you how people are gearing up for their summer vacations. But first, the melt is on, and that isn't all good news.
This is one of the worst pothole seasons I've seen since the early 90s.
12 News starts right now. Finally, some nice weather. This is the mildest it's been since November 16th.
And while the warmer temperatures are welcome, the sudden thaw is creating some new headaches for motorists and public works crews. 12 News reporter Sonia Goins explains.
Spring has sprung and so has the water. There's about 15 inches of snow on the ground, but with the temperatures in the 40s, all that snow is melting, sending water gushing into the streets. The water is so deep near 65th and Zane in Brooklyn Park, some drivers are opting to turn around instead of going through. Meltdown is not only causing flooding, but it's creating huge holes in the road.
Anytime water sits on the road and traffic goes over it and it freezes in the middle of the night, yeah, it'll actually start destroying the road.
Brooklyn Park crews spent much of the day patching up potholes.
This is one of the worst pothole seasons I've seen since the early 90s.
While crews are working hard to fill in the gaps, this is only a temporary fix.
It's not the most ideal conditions to be throwing asphalt down because the roads are still wet, they're still frozen, and it doesn't adhere.
These crews really have their work cut out for them. They're doing double duty.
Hopefully we'll take care of some of the complaints, but we won't be able to get to them all because we're also the same people who are opening up the frozen catch basins and small flooding problems that residents have.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And Brooklyn Park Public Works trying to get a jump on the street flooding. They started clearing sewers of ice last week. Today they say they got about 10 calls from residents complaining about flooded streets. In Maple Grove, the city maintains about 300 miles of municipal streets, and the city has a hotline number there on your screen to report potholes. For state highways, you can report a pothole to MnDOT online. If drivers get car damage from a pothole, they can file a claim against a government agency. The drivers must show that the agency knew about the pothole and didn't get it repaired in a reasonable amount of time. MnDOT, for example, paid out only about 5% of claims last year.
The spring thaw is also doing a number on local Home Depot stores. The weight of the snow and ice caved in not one, but two garden center roofs. This morning at the Home Depot in Plymouth, snow sliding off the main roof damaged the canvas roof of the garden center. No one was hurt, and the rest of the store remains open. And it was a similar story at the Brooklyn Park Home Depot. The store's garden center canvas roof collapsed just after 7 p.m. Sunday night. Nobody was in the garden center at the time. The rest of the store also remains open.
In other news, a Brooklyn Center woman is accused of felony insurance fraud. Arlesia Robinson allegedly used a fake identity and forged documents to defraud consumers looking for discounted auto insurance. Authorities say she would collect premiums in exchange for fake policies. Robinson was arrested after she allegedly sold a fake policy to an undercover agent with the Minnesota Department of Commerce. Robinson is charged with 2 counts of aggravated forgery. She faces up to 10 years in prison for each count. The Minnesota Department of Commerce says to help prevent scams, consumers should always check the Commerce website to make sure that the person they buy insurance from is a licensed agent.
A deadline is fast approaching for Minnesotans without health insurance. March 31st is the deadline to buy insurance through MNsure, the state's online exchange. Those who miss the deadline will have to wait until November to buy insurance through MNsure. Those without insurance after the March 31st deadline also face a $95 penalty. It hasn't been an easy ride for MNsure. The system has been crippled with technical flaws, and the number of Minnesotans who have signed up lags far behind the original estimates. Many lost or stray animals never go back to their original homes or find a new home.
But thanks to dedicated advocates in the Northwest Metro, an animal shelter in Maple Grove is returning or rescuing 98% of the cats and dogs that come into their care. Reporter Cassie Bonstrom has more on what the shelter is doing differently.
This is the cat room.
At a different shelter in a different town, these cats might not make it out alive.
Currently we have quite a few feral cats that have been trapped from various colonies.
But here at PUPS, which stands for Pets Under Police Security, it's almost guaranteed they'll get a second chance.
She's one of our friendly girls that hopefully a rescue will take sometime soon.
The PUPS shelter in Maple Grove takes in dogs and cats from the surrounding 7 cities in the Northwest Metro. Their high success rate of rehoming animals, 98% to be exact, has earned them a designation as a no-kill shelter.
It's exciting. I mean, that's what we strive for. There's almost always a happy ending.
If animals go unclaimed, they stay at PUPS as long as they need to. Casey and Comet are patiently waiting.
If it needs rescue or if it needs help, that's our main goal. We don't want to euthanize the animals. If we can find a rescue group to place them with and get them in a good home with a good loving family, that's the best case scenario for everybody.
During the summer and fall months, these 10 kennels are almost always full. Right now, it's just Casey and Comet here, but by the end of the year, they'll have saved more than 500 animals. They'll either go to rescue groups or be returned to their original owners. Add to that number the 400 cats they take in every year, and that's a remarkable 900 animals saved from euthanization. In Maple Grove, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
If you're interested in animals at PUPS, you have to go through one of the 75 rescue groups that the shelter works with. The shelter does not adopt any animals out to the general public.
The warmer temperatures already have people thinking about how they're going to spend their summer vacations.
Three Rivers Park District, this is Callie.
Receptionists with the Three Rivers Park District stayed busy all day taking calls from people wanting to make campground reservations. Today was the first day people could reserve spots on the district's 3 campground sites. Park District officials say there's a growing demand for people wanting to take their vacations closer to home because it's a less expensive option.
We have a lot of returning guests and some new guests, and summer with the last few years, higher gas prices and economy being a little tougher, people are looking for a closer option.
Park District officials say people should reserve early because weekend spots fill up fast. They also encourage people to consider planning their camping trips for the middle of the week when it's a little bit less crowded. Coming up, an update on local businesses, including a Maple Grove manufacturer that's finding success overseas.
Then later in sports, 2 local section boys basketball championship games go down to the wire.
But first, snowflakes, yes, snowflakes are in your AccuWeather forecast. Look for a small coating of snow on Tuesday. State employment officials have released a new jobs report that shows more than 30 businesses plan to expand in Minnesota.
And the list includes 2 in the northwest suburbs. The business expansions announced for the 4th quarter are expected to result in about 1,100 new jobs. Olympus Surgical Technologies America is one of them. It plans to create 100 new jobs in Brooklyn Park. Another is Canada-based Price Industries. It's planning a new headquarters for air conditioning products in Maple Grove, which is expected to create 40 new engineering jobs. The state officials are expecting the expansion trend to continue in 2014. Well, every Monday we highlight a local business here on 12 News, and this week we're following up on a few of those stories.
It is a Business Matters update that includes a Maple Grove company getting honored by the governor and 2 young Plymouth entrepreneurs whose Sandals company is taking the next big step. For years, Maple Grove-based manufacturer MGS Machine has built its reputation on making solid, high-tech equipment that can package pharmaceuticals and other products for U.S. companies at rapid speed. In recent years, this small business has found business overseas.
You can't look just to the domestic market anymore. It's a global market, so that's what we've tried to embrace.
Last year, around a quarter of the company's business came from outside the U.S., where it has found a market for the products in Asia and Europe. That growth in business has caught the eye of Minnesota's governor. Tuesday, MGS Machine will be recognized as one of the state's top exporters during the governor's International Trade Awards.
That's not why we do what we do, but it's nice to get accolades when you reach pinnacles or when you get to high points. So it's really special for us in our organization.
New Hope will consider it a victory for new housing Tuesday when demolition begins on the Winnetka Learning Center at 55th and Winnetka. The city bought the property last year to make room for at least 60 new single-family homes and townhomes.
So right here we've got some men's styles on the bottom and then the women's up here on top.
The Bokos sandal, created by Plymouth entrepreneur Matt McManus and his brother James, is now available at its first Minnesota store, Plymouth-based Sports Hut.
We're ramping up pretty quickly, and it's been a really exciting time and super busy too.
A year after starting the home-based business, the Plymouth brothers have sold 4,000 sandals, primarily online. But their sandals are now carried in about 15 independent stores and gift shops around the country.
We've actually just started to focus on going into the independents here in the States these last few months. Now that the snow is kind of melting, it's really time for us to ramp up those efforts. But over the last few months and last fall, it's been more of a focus on the site where we get a lot of really strong traffic. We love driving customers to the site, but getting them in the shops is also really important to us.
The sandals will also be sold in Penn Cycle starting next month. Coming up, a muddy mess and why no one seems to care in Plymouth.
But first in sports, defending state champ Hopkins is out of the girls' basketball playoffs. John Jacobson has the details. Coming up next. The state basketball tournament just around the corner, and we've got a pretty good showing from the Northwest Metro.
We do. You know, a couple of local teams in 4A and one in 1A, and some exciting section finals last week, too.
Good game, yeah.
Osseo's boys basketball team was making its fourth straight appearance in the Section 5 Class 4A final. Champlin Park, champions of the Northwest Suburban Conference this winter, was in the school's first title game since 2010. Second-seeded Osseo looking to win for the second time in 3 tries against the Rebels this season. But it's pretty much all Champlin Park in the first half. Jeremy Johnson to Marty Hill for an open 3 and a 13-7 Rebels lead. Later, it's Ian Smith driving the lane and hitting the tough pull-up jumper, put the Rebels up 29-14. Osseo's Ian Tyson had a big game at both ends of the floor. His block triggers a fast break that ends in a Wheeler-Baker layup. Still, the Orioles trail by 12 points at the half. Early second half, Champlin Park's J.T. Gibson knocks down a 3. The Rebels would lead by as many as 17. But then back came Osseo. Tyson with a putback of a miss makes it a 47-44 game. The senior finished the night with 23 points and 12 rebounds. Elliott Kane hits a big shot, including that one. Helps Osseo eventually tie the game. Final seconds of regulation in that 60-all tie. Smith driving the floor. Tyson comes over, blocks his layup attempt, and this game goes to overtime. Baker gets the first points of overtime. Osseo leads from start to finish in the extra session, and the Orioles come from behind to win. They head to state with a 72-67 win.
It's amazing. I never felt this amazing before. Like last year, it was horrible because we lost to Park Center in the section finals, and now look at us. We're here going to state.
Osseo is the number 4 seed for the state tournament. The Orioles face 5th-seeded Shakopee in the Class 4A quarterfinals Wednesday at noon at the Target Center. In Section 4 of Class 1A, Maranatha Christian Academy was looking to make it back-to-back section titles. The Mustangs faced now small enrollment school Minneapolis North in the title game. Maranatha Junior Jeremiah Hansen hits a pull-up jumper for the Mustangs to give them an early lead. 17 points in the game for the junior Hansen. Nice job by the Pullers. Tyler Johnson breaking down the defense, finds Odell Wilson for the layup. This game is really close throughout. Watch for North's number 2 as Jarek Lane flying down the lane, gets the offensive board and hoop. North leads by 4. They'd be up 1 at the half. Second half, Jake Mayan kicks one coast to coast for the layup for Maranatha for 2 of his 9 points. MCA back on top. Hansen will take an inbound pass and drive baseline to score 2 more, and Maranatha holds a slim lead. Final 2 minutes of the second half. North's Johnson will drive the lane, he'll scoop in the shot, and it's a 1-point game. North is down 2 points with 6 seconds left. Jamil Jackson will rebound the missed Hansen free throw. He'll drive the length of the court here to try for the tie and for overtime, but his shot comes just off. Maranatha wins 67-65. They head to state for a second straight season. And the Mustangs are the #2 seed for the Class A tournament. They will face Red Lake in the quarterfinals Thursday at 3 o'clock at Williams Arena. In girls basketball, Hopkins played for a spot in the Section 6 4A title game. Royals facing Eden Prairie in the semifinals. Jayla Mays-Jackson with a steal here for the Eagles. Andrea Jurel scores in the rebound, and it's 36-17 Eden Prairie. Hopkins starts to come back. Molly O'Toole splits the defenders and scores. She scores 9 points total. TT Starks drives from the wing and gets a layup. The Royals pull within 10, 39-29. Still plenty of time left in the game. A cross-court pass will set up Ashley Bates for the driving hoop. Hopkins is within 4 at 42-38. But Eden Prairie does not fold. Martha Cooterer gets it to Emma Bohm for a 3. And the Eagles lead at 45-40. They make enough free throws and hang on for a 51-46 win, eliminating Hopkins and ending their 3-year run of state championships. In the Section 5 4A semifinals Tuesday night, Osseo will play top seed Centennial at 6 p.m. at Anoka High School. In the second semi there, it's Maple Grove tipping off with Champlin Park at 7:45. And in Section 3 of Class 3A at Maple Grove High School, top seed Park Center faces Como Park at 6, followed by De La Salle and Totino Grace at 7:45. Maranatha and Heritage are both still alive in Section 4A. And that's a look at sports for today.
March Madness,
Yeah,
right? Thanks a lot, John. Coming up, fun in the sun and mud.
The place in Plymouth that will make laundry machines extra busy when we come back. Anyone with a dog can attest that this winter wasn't the most conducive time to take your furry friend along for a walk.
Pretty messy, but warmer temperatures also mean the longer walks and, of course, yes, some muddy mess. The Plymouth Dog Park was a popular place for people to enjoy the weather and let their pets run free, but all the melted snow creates quite the mess for dogs that like to romp around on the ground. Some of the pet owners here today say dirty dogs are to be expected this time of year, so it's important to be prepared.
You kind of just know that it's going to be muddy and you're going to be messy, and I always wear old clothes because you get jumped on and mudded up. You can't stay clean when you come to the dog park in the spring.
If you didn't come prepared with towels, the Plymouth Dog Park along County Road 47 does have a dog bath to help people clean off their pets. And that does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.